Now I would like to let our participants also to take the floor. We will now be freely in combining the topics. We have registration for different topics. As I said, we have identified such directions as defense, human rights, cooperation, recovery, and energy. And within the recovery, there were a lot of input from different organizations, from different parts of society also, as there are less participants within the call as registrations. I would just give the floor. You can raise your hand. I already see one, and I will give you the microphone. And please exchange your experience either on what you've already heard, maybe your input from your perspective. We eager to understand what are the critical situations now when we can all collaboratively support in finding the solutions, but also we eager to listen on your projects that are very relevant for the Kherson and Ukrainian-German cooperation. I see the hand of Sergiy Govorovskyy.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. Welcome.
I would love to, Julia, if you allow me, I would love to share 3 slides with you regarding our organization, because we have been on the ground since the beginning of the war in Kherson in particularly, and our funding director spends about 70% of his time in Ukraine, in Kherson. It will be very quick.
Sure.
Yeah, I think, can you see the presentation? I think so. Perfect.
Yes.
So let me introduce ourselves. So we are called Be an Angel. We are an NGO based in Berlin, acting globally. Our mission is empowering refugees, and that we have been doing successfully for about 10 years here in Germany. We have successful examples of sustainable and economic integration of refugees here in Germany. And since the full-scale invasion, we have been on the ground in Ukraine. That is some of our impact that we have achieved. We have evacuated about almost 25,000 people from the frontline regions, which was about 277 buses. We have delivered tens of tons of humanitarian aid worth about 63 million euros. And we had about 1.3 million people reached in the crisis regions. Sorry. Yes, our work in Kherson. So almost from the first days, we have been on the ground. We have 4 pillars that support our work there. Long-term presence and operations. We work ourselves. Our team in Kherson works under high-risk conditions. On the ground oversight. On the photo, you can see Andreas Tölke, who's also in this call, who travels very often to Kherson to oversee our humanitarian missions. As well as Alexandra Pavlenko, who is the director of our office in Ukraine. Cooperation with authorities, we have a memorandum signed with the military administration, and all of our activities are carefully coordinated and approved and operationally secured with them. One of our major strengths of course, lies in the hands of our local partners and the network. We have an extensive network, but I would like to highlight one case in particular. It's a local NGO called Strong Because Free, Sergiy. They have a large number of activities they do. They evacuate elderly. They have a so-called social taxis where basically they provide, they bring people to their appointments, hospitals, whatever they might need, as well as other humanitarian missions. We highly focus, especially since about 2 years, on the concept of localization. That is empowering local Ukrainian NGOs which know exactly what to do. Some of our key program areas, as you have mentioned yourself, energy and heating currently is the priority. Back in 2022, we have organized a coalition of 42 NGOs and procured and led a procurement of a fundraising campaign where we managed to raise money for 1,715 generators, the worth of which you can see on the slide, a lot of which have also been delivered to Kherson. Our latest project, which took about 2 weeks ago, as you can see also in the photos, we have delivered generators and heaters to shelters, clinics, and civilian facilities. The demand is unfortunately still there. There's still about 300 civilian shelters which are in need of these. We're also currently in negotiations with Ukrainian petrol stations in order to provide vouchers and ensure that those people who have generators have also the fuel to use them.
Sergiy, thank you very much. I unfortunately have to make a pause here. Would you please provide this presentation to the organizators so we can share all this information to all the participants in the call, because we have also much more input. And if you, and I already written this within the chat, if any of you have any two-pager presentation, input, links, everything that is connected to the cooperation between Ukraine and Germany, especially Kherson region and city partnerships, NGOs cooperations, and humanitarian aid, please be free to send us all this information. We will be the transporter of this into the public. Sergiy, thank you very much. I personally also know the initiative and appreciate all of your work, guys. So the numbers are just impressive, and I suppose that the needs are still have to be covered. And maybe can you name one main challenge that you as an organization is facing now?
It's very hard. I think the lack of funding is obviously one which all of the NGOs are struggling.
May I?
Yes.
May I? You know, the biggest challenge, as we see here, is how to synchronize activities. We have here like so many different groups who do a fabulous job. It's really amazing. We're just listening to them and see what their activities are. But there's not really a platform where these activities are synchronized. We are working on an IT platform that will be hopefully launched in the Oblast Kherson pretty soon for registration of NGOs that are approved. These NGOs can have a reporting system through that, and we have a case management through that. So you have like these different fields of activities like medical care, evacuation program, food program, catch program, whatsoever. Here we go about the campaign. So I think this is like a lack of what I felt like being in Ukraine since 4 years almost on a regular basis most of my time, especially the smaller and the mid-sized NGOs at the front lines as Kherson don't have a really good platform, and they can't do it. You know, they have a 16-hour working day. We can't expect them to do a proper reporting. We can't expect them to do a fundraising. We can't expect them to call for action. This should be the duty and the job of the NGOs outside or of the organizations outside of Ukraine. And if we don't have the material for it, then we don't know what these NGOs are doing, we can't do a fundraiser and we can't communicate. So we have this IT platform. I'm happy to share that afterwards. It's almost ready to go. We have one more bug to fight with, and then we will initiate that in Kherson. And all Kherson activities and all NGOs participating here, we really invite you to have a look at it and to give your best practice back to us. So that's, from my understanding, the biggest challenge.
Andreas, thank you very much for naming this as well. From the NGO perspective, I know also the huge challenge with this regard. I think it's also a pro and contra within the decentralized acting within the war. But after 4 years, of course, there's a necessity to more consolidation, for more resource used separately, not double work, making double work. As soon as you have this new portal or solution, please share this as well with the platform, because they will then use their contacts to spread it and aim in the Kherson region as well. Thank you for your input, guys. I will then call for Sergiy Sandakov, because he was already listed as an expert as well. Sergiy, I hope you are still there.
Hi, my name is Alexei.
Oh, sorry, so, Alexei, sorry. Please, the floor is yours. I think you would be, it would be very fruitful to know your perspective because you've mentioned the troubles with the investment sector, but also please share your projects and your work with the community.
As I said, again, Alexis Andakov, my name. I studied in Germany, Bielefeld, so it's a shame I can't speak German with you. I think it would be a much better reflection of what we have here. I currently represent the Luther Rechtsanwaltsgesellschaft mit begrenzter Haftung from Germany. I'm a country manager for them in Ukraine. And I travel between Kherson and Kiev for the most part of my life. Currently in Kherson, as the situation with electricity and heating much better here than in Kiev. Kiev has suffered a lot for the last 2 weeks. Beside my tax and legal career, also involved in video production. My first documentary came out in 2023. It's a short chronicle, self-funded, about what Kherson experienced for the first years of the war. The email I applied with for this panel is about the financial sanctions, namely the decision of the European Union GASP 2022-266 from February 23, 2022. Following this decision, the occupied regions of Ukraine, Donetsk, Luhansk, were put under financial sanctions by the European Union. So it is not possible to transfer from or to these regions. And later on in same year, the Kherson region and Zaporizhia was also included into the decision. So the consequences of this are that we cannot transfer money to Kherson, despite the city is already liberated. Anyone opening his e-banking in Kherson will get it blocked immediately. It happened to many journalists here and also to me. I think it's a mistake. It should be fixed, so that Kherson can step into real partnerships with European cities and European businesses. I think on the level of the cities, we could jointly produce a letter addressing it to the European Union and to respective German authorities. As Robert already told, he already had difficulties with transferring funds to Kherson, and I think we could do something in that regard. Thank you for doing this panel. Thank you for sharing the context for the presentations of yours. I think we'll contact the authorities directly, and maybe we can shift the situation.
Thank you very much for naming this problem. I don't think that every participant was aware of that. And as Robert actually named his trouble with this fear, it will be very interesting for some kind of collaboration. And my question actually was if you already know any means we can use, and you have named that. So thank you very much.